day, everyone. My name is Mr. O'Connor from the Scholastic Esports Research Center in Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome to the Beginner's Guide to Farmcraft. In this video, we'll be continuing our Farmcraft playthrough. In the previous video, we selected the biome the way of feeding, which was the mountain biome, and in this video, we'll be continuing our playthrough where we'll be collecting our seeds. But before we collect the seeds, we must first speak to the host. And he is saying, every community has wants and needs when it comes to food. Speak to the members of the community to gain an understanding of what they look for when choosing produce and why. Now, this is another aspect of Farmcraft which is important because in Farmcraft we don't know, there isn't an explicit way to know how your scores are calculated. There are different factors, and as I alluded to in the previous video, one of the ways that your scores are calculated is the biome you're supplying to. Now also, the members of the community have a role, because at the end, which we will see, when we speak to the members of the community, we actually see how what they want, if it impacts the score or not. So for example, if I speak to this resident, he is saying nutrition is very important. The people here want healthy foods for their families. Getting our kids to eat nutritious foods is tricky, so it has to taste great as well. We buy delicious products that we can use in our favorite family recipes. Our recipes are meaningful and they have to taste just right. So after, when you finish your playthrough and you transport your goods and you check your score, you can see how the resident affected your score. You can see how much it contributed. Sometimes you get a bonus multiplier on how well, if what you did, it met their needs. It's a complicated game. Next person in the community is the shop owner. So let's see what he's saying. The shop owner says, owning a market can be tricky. I need to buy products at a fair price and with the quality and freshness, that is important, that our customers demand. If our food is too expensive, it will be difficult for our community to afford. If no one buys the food, it will spoil and be wasted. Now, he said two things there, the quality and the freshness, as well as the spoilage. Yes, those are also factors that we may encounter in our playthrough. Next, we have the consumer. The consumer is saying, I come to this shop often to buy food for my family. We work hard and have a lot of expenses, so it is important to get food at a good price. I always check the quality and ripeness of produce. Note what it said there. Before I buy it, and because I want to bring the best food home to my family. So for the consumer, if the produce isn't the right but the nice quality, they will not buy as much, and because they won't buy as much, that means your overall score will be lowered. So your farming practices, which we will encounter soon, actually plays a role. How much herbicides and so on you use, as well as weeds and insects. And the farmer is saying, sometimes the food the community wants or needs is not available here, and sometimes there's so much demand that our farm just can't grow enough. We depend on other farms to help grow some of our food elsewhere and ship it to our store. Now remember, we are shipping to the mountain, and the farmer said the community want or they need food that's not available. So when we're choosing, so when we go to the, what we're going to do now, we're going back to the host and we will have to collect our seeds. So there are lots of different factors that affect your score in Farmcraft, and like I said, there's no explicit way for you to know, and that's what makes the game so intriguing. You have to. It's a game of trial and error. It's a game of communication. If you're playing multiplayer, it's a game of thinking, because there is a lot of strategy involved and depth. And in some cases, you could use your real life experiences to think about what may benefit or what may help you lose your score. And that's the beauty of NASEF Farmcraft. So let's go back and talk to the host. So he's telling us, thanks for talking to the community. We know that growing food is not a simple task. So we appreciate your interest in supplying food to this market. It's time to get your seeds from the lab. Yes! Seeds time, everyone. And now we are in the lab. Let's take a look around. Okay. In NASEF Farmcraft 2023, all of this that we're seeing here was not in the previous versions. All of this is new. So when we speak to the scientist, he explains, welcome to the lab. As a data scientist, my job is to collect and analyze data so it can be used to inform the decisions we make. In order to help you make a good decision about which crop to grow for your community, I have surveyed the residents and encountered all of their answers into the supercomputer. You will need to help analyze this information and choose the best combination of crop type, color, taste, and quality. You need to enter possible combinations into the computer. The computer will use the data and help you make the perfect seed choice. Not only does the combination matter, but the order matter. Note what they said there. This is also important because the seeds you're planting, it impacts your score. Customer have priority when it comes to what matters most. Speak to each of these scientists to get detailed information about each trait to get started. So I know as you're listening, you're saying there are lots of factors, and yes, that's what makes farmcraft so intriguing. So the crop scientist says we have to start with the basics. There are many different types of crops you can grow. We need to decide which crop to grow and then select the right variants that appeal to the consumers. The color scientist says produce can come in many different colors. While this may or may not affect taste, different communities have different color preferences. We can generate seeds that grow a specific color of crop to best meet the demands of the consumers. The taste scientist says, while some produce may look amazing, it's important that it tastes great too. If people don't eat food because they don't like the taste, much of our work will go to waste. Let's make sure the food tastes just right. And finally, the quality scientist says there are always unique characteristics of crops that need to be considered. Does a crop need to provide a high amount of nutritional value to a community? Or perhaps a crop needs to be durable enough to make it to market without getting damaged. They are important for a farmer to consider. So we've spoken to the quality scientists, the taste scientists, the color scientists, and the crop scientists. And this is a supercomputer which we'll interact with very soon. And at this point, this is where we are going to end this video. I will see everyone in the next video where we will continue our playthrough and interact with the supercomputer to collect our seeds and to start our farming. Happy farm crafting, everyone!